Hello and welcome to V News. Coming up next, we have your top stories.
The 10th session of the 13th National Assembly concludes. Cabinet convenes November regular meeting. Confederation of ASEAN Journalists celebrates 40th anniversary.
The 10th session of the 13th National Assembly concluded in Hanoi on November 27th after more than a month of sitting.
During the session, the National Assembly conducted an unprecedented question and answer section that saw the presence of all government members to respond to deputies' queries regarding their remits. Addressing the closing ceremony, National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng said the legislative body was pleased with positive changes and results made in socio-economic performance in 2015, with targets set by the legislator being basically achieved. However, he pointed to shortcomings that should be addressed in the future, including the economy's low quality and competitiveness and the fact that administrative reform and the fight against corruption fall short of expectations. Earlier the same day, lawmakers approved the draft revised penal code and the criminal procedure code amended. The majority of deputies agreed on the necessity of promulgating the law on access to information.
On November 26, President Trương Tấn Sang delivered a speech at a business forum in Frankfurt as part of his visit to Germany that concluded on the same day. At the business forum in Frankfurt, the largest city in German state of Hessen, with the engagement of over 30 Vietnamese businesses and nearly 100 of German firms, the president said Vietnam hopes to further deepen the strategic partnership between the two countries across the fields, particularly in the economic domain. He also confirmed the Vietnamese government will further improve the investment climate to enable foreign investors, including those from Germany, to do long-term business in Vietnam. German companies evaluated Vietnam as a young economy with abundant human resources and stable macroeconomic and socio-political situation. Scores of German leading groups regarded Vietnam as one of the key markets in their investment strategies in Asia. Also on November 26, President Sang met with Minister-President of the state of Hessen, Volker Bouffier. He suggested the Hessen authorities continue supporting and encouraging their firms to run business in Vietnam, while helping Vietnamese enterprises operate fruitfully in the state. During his stay in Germany, President Trương Tấn Sang visited a vocational training center of the Opel Auto Manufacturing Group, where the leader said he was impressed by its modern scale and effective operation. The president voiced his hope that the group will assist Vietnam in training engineers and skilled workers, contributing to spurring the development of the country's auto and spare parts industries in the coming time. Later the same day, President Trương Tấn Sang and his entourage left the state of Hessen for Hanoi, successfully wrapping up his state visit to Germany. We have more news coming up next. Stay tuned.
President Trương Tấn Sang met with People's Armed Forces Minister of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, Park Yong-sik, in Hanoi on November 27th. Minister Park Yong-sik informs the president of his talks with Vietnamese Minister of National Defense Phùng Quang Thanh, during which they agreed to continue maintaining the traditional ties through increasing the exchange of delegations and language learners, as well as promoting cooperation in education, training, museum, library, culture and sports. He thanks Vietnam for supporting his country in national construction. He affirmed he himself will do his utmost to boost ties between the two countries. President Sang spoke highly of the results of the talks. He said he believes that under the leadership of the Workers' Party of Korea, people of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea would make further achievements. He affirmed Vietnam's consistent wish to enhance relations with the East Asian nation.
On November 27, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng presided over the government's regular meeting for November. More details coming up next. The cabinet discussed a report on socio-economic performance in November and the first 11 months of this year, and a draft decree on government agencies. Minister of Planning and Investment Bùi Quang Vinh reported that in the months to November, the economy showed signs of recovery, recording higher growth rates. The macroeconomy stability was maintained, inflation was put under control, and credit growth was relatively high. In the period, industrial production surged, while agricultural production developed stably despite difficulties. The foreign direct investment and its disbursement picked up. Social security and welfare were maintained. Political security and order were ensured. Addressing the event, Prime Minister Dũng said a 6.5% economic growth is most likely if there is no obstacles. He asked ministries, agencies and localities to further make greater efforts to see the highest results in socio-economic performance. He said it is necessary to focus on stabilizing the macroeconomy, improving the investment and business environment, increasing competitiveness and facilitating businesses' operations. Vice President of Bulgaria Margarita Popova is paying an official visit to Vietnam. The visit is made at the invitation of her Vietnamese counterpart Nguyễn Thị Doan. At their talks, Vice President Nguyễn Thị Doan thanked Bulgaria for creating favorable conditions for the Vietnamese community in the country, saying she hopes the Vietnamese expatriates will actively work to develop the friendship and cooperation between the two countries. The visiting Vice President said Bulgaria attaches importance to traditional relations with Vietnam and wants to lift bilateral ties to a new height. Hosts and guests agreed on orientations and detailed measures to further boost collaboration in economic trade, education training, culture tourism, and security defense. They voiced their delight at the close coordination at the international forums, adding that both countries should do more to enhance ties in this field. They reached consensus on stepping up the implementation of the economic cooperation mechanism approved by the two heads of state in 2013 towards lifting bilateral ties to a strategic partnership. The same day, Vice President Popova was received by Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng. The Vietnamese government leader spoke highly of her visit, saying that the results of the visit will make an important contribution to boosting the traditional friendship and cooperation between the two countries. In his speech to a ceremony celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Confederation of ASEAN Journalists in Hanoi on November 27th, Deputy Prime Minister Vũ Đức Đam has urged ASEAN media, press organizations and journalists to be in the vanguard of steering public opinions towards fine values for the sake of regional and global prosperity.
Deputy Prime Minister Vũ Đức Đam spoke highly of contributions by the Confederation towards lifting ASEAN's position in the global arena, particularly with the formation of the ASEAN community later this year. He affirms the importance of boosting journalistic responsibility, building relations between ASEAN journalists and their foreign counterparts. Amid the complicated developments in the region and the world, the Deputy Prime Minister stressed the role and responsibility of the Confederation and ASEAN press in strengthening mutual understanding and cooperation between nations.
ASEAN leaders have approved the vision towards 2025 based on three pillars: political security, economic and social culture. This vision will help our people understand the ASEAN community and the opportunities it provides, so that ultimately the people will reap the most benefits. And in this regard, the role of reporters is highly important.
Well, now the problem here is we're talking about it's computer age now, and social media is so powerful. But the problem is still we need a good journalist that will deliver the message through social media or through broadcast or through print.
The Confederation is comprised of journalist associations of Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Laos and Vietnam. It is the largest press organization in the region. which has set itself the goal of promoting free and responsible journalism and increasing understanding among ASEAN members.
The quintessence of Vietnamese tea was the theme of the 2015 Thái Nguyên Tea Festival in the northern mountainous province of Thái Nguyên.
The festival, with the participation of such key international partners as Malaysia, the Philippines, Indonesia, the Republic of Korea, Japan, Thailand, Brunei and Russia, has also helped promote the culture and landscapes of Thái Nguyên province. It is aimed at introducing local potential and drawing more investments in the locality. The event also saw 20 delegations from many tea areas across the country, enterprises, trade villages, cooperatives, and thousands of visitors attend. There were dozens of art performances featuring the cultures of all ethnic groups across the nation. Thái Nguyên tea products are popular in Vietnam. Currently, Thái Nguyên is ranked second in terms of tea outputs nationally, just behind the Central Highlands Lâm Đồng province, with more than 20,700 hectares of tea, producing some 192,000 tons of fresh buds annually. The province currently sells an average of 31,500 tons of tea in the domestic market every year, or 80% of its total yearly output of over 39,000 tons. Only 20 to 30% of Thái Nguyên tea is exported to overseas markets.
The exports of garments and textiles in 2015 are expected to reach $27.5 billion, up 11.3% from the same period last year.
According to the Vietnam National Textiles and Garments Group, Vietnamese garments and textiles enterprises have actively participated to the campaign Vietnamese People Prioritize Vietnamese Goods, with a view to increasing the domestic market's growth. Many enterprises have achieved higher turnovers and expanded their outlets nationwide. The garments and textile sector has overcome difficulties, maintaining a stable growth and surpassing its target from 2010-2015. The sector's average growth rate in the period was 14.75%, contributing significantly to the country's export turnover, while maintaining Vietnam's position in the list of the world's top 5 garment and textile exporters.
The number of international visitors to Vietnam in November rose by 12.9% against last month and by 20.4% as compared to the same period last year. More details in the following report.
Statistics released by the General Statistics Office show that the number of foreign tourists to Vietnam in the first 11 months of this year reached 7 million. However, the figure is still 2% lower than the same period of 2014. In the reviewed period, 15 markets saw increases in the flows of visitors to Vietnam, including the UK, France, Germany, Italy, and Spain, which have enjoyed the country's visa exemptions. Among them, Spain witnessed the strongest rise of 10.7%. The suggest can be explained that Vietnam is entering the peak period of tourism season, which endures until early 2016, while its visa exemption for visitors from the Western European countries is another reason. Nevertheless, the number of holiday makers from other countries, including Cambodia, Laos and Thailand, dropped strongly, now 43.7%, 18.4% and 17.9% respectively.
And we have come to the end of our news bulletin. Thank you for watching. For more information, please log on to our website at vietnamplus.vn. We'll see you soon.